One of the concrete examples of the new plan General Joubert was talking about was the brutal murder of Dr. Fabian Ribeiro and his wife Florence in their house in Mamelodi in 1986. Fingers were immediately pointed at the state, but the exact identity of the killers has remained largely a mystery. This week, it emerged that the Ribeiros were two of the people killed by Special Forces operatives.
Last year, the first details surrounding the murder of Dr. Fabian Ribeiro and his wife Florence started to emerge when 5 former security policemen applied for amnesty.
Instruction came from head office that the security branch, together with special forces, had to work together to eliminate Ribeiro.
Jacques Hechter of the Northern Transvaal Security Branch said then that he did not know the ins and outs of the assassination plan. But this week, things started becoming a little clearer. The killing of Fabian and Florence Ribeiro here in Mamelodi was in fact part of the broader cooperation plan between the South African Defence Force and the South African Police. Part of this plan was to use special forces to work together with the police to eliminate certain people seen to be enemies of the state. Fabian and Florence Ribeiro were on that list.
That is what I tried to explain. If the circumstances were such that those were the best ways, it would have happened that he would be killed.
JOEP discussed his broad plan with the then Chief of the South African Defence Force, General Jannie Geldenhuys. It happened at a social gathering. He says Geldenhuys gave him the go-ahead, but Geldenhuys now denies that this meant the killing of people.
Because we were pressed for time, one evening at a function, I discussed this with General Geldenhuys. I explained it to him in broad terms, and he told me, just as I've mentioned it in my application, he said it sounded good. I accepted it like that, and with that remark, General Geldenhuys gave me the authorization to continue with these operations. That was how I interpreted General Geldenhuys. Whether that was what General Geldenhuys saw in this regard, that was a different matter. But yes, I did discuss this with him. Mr. Chairman, my answer is as follows. General JOUBERT could make his own conclusions from what I have meant, but I did not authorize those actions.
Do I understand from the answer that you gave when you were not answering the previous question that you agree that he did present to you a plan, but not necessarily a plan in the terms in which he has given evidence today? In other words, that it involved the elimination of individuals.
Mr. Chairman, I'm being asked a question about something which has happened during a social occasion 11 years ago. And I really can't give any specific particulars, as I have already said. What I can remember about that plan, it was no detailed operational plan, as we usually used to do that, but it was a plan regarding the allocation of men from the special forces to various commands to support the South African police.
What we do, however, now know is that the elimination of Fabian and Florence Ribeiro did take place, and that Special Forces was involved. We also know that after the assassination there was a certain degree of displeasure and confusion within security force ranks. Top brass responded by modifying JOEP's plan to allow for better control in the selection of targets.
Mr. Chairman, I was under the impression that these type of operations had to be approved by the police. I was under that impression. And I accepted that at least it would have been cleared and approved at the level of the head of the security police. It appeared then that after one specific incident that was not the case. And then I immediately took action and developed a procedure to get these authorization channels right.
General Joubert's position was that he thought that he was acting bona fide and that the operation was in fact authorized by the police chiefs.
Are you saying to this commission that all that you would do, you could do in the circumstances, or simply to say this thing should never happen again?
Mr. Chairman, the only thing I did was not just to say it should not happen again. I created a mechanism to take control of the situation.
Did you approach the Attorney General's office with information to the effect that General Joubert had, in a discussion with you, confirmed that he had authorized the murder of an individual or individuals?
Mr. Chairman, this information was already given to me that these steps had been taken when it was reported to me a few weeks after the event.
But we want to know, and it's a simple thing. If you did, you did. If you did not, you did not.
Mr. Chairman, I did not go to the Attorney General.
And you did not seek to know from the head of the police whether in fact General Joubert's understanding that there had been authorization by the police for that operation to take place was in fact so. You did not.
Mr. Chairman, I might have done that, but I can't remember those details.
If I may just come in here, General, was there in fact a full inquest into those deaths? In fact, you know that there wasn't. There wasn't an inquest at which General Joubert gave evidence, was there? In fact, the deaths were completely covered up. Isn't that correct?
Not as far as I know, Mr. Chairman.
Did General Joubert give evidence at an inquest into those killings?
I can't remember, Mr. Chairman. But
Are you being serious that you can't remember? You know very well that those killings were unresolved until we obtained General Joubert's amnesty application a few weeks ago. Are you seriously suggesting that you don't know whether General Joubert gave evidence at an open public inquest into those killings? You can't remember.
And you are under oath. You are not on trial, but you are under oath.
Please answer the question. Are you saying that you cannot remember whether General Joubert gave evidence at a public inquest into this matter?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
You can't remember?
I can't remember.
Oh, I don't believe you.
The Commission wanted to know, again and again, where the buck stopped. Who knew what about Joubert's plan, and what did they do with that knowledge? This is what the main players in the security establishment have to say.
No plan, no envisaged plan, no joint venture of that nature was ever discussed with me at all.
I'm not aware of any case where the Defence Force and the police would have acted together internally and where people had been killed and had not been discussed with me.
I, in my more than 35 years of service in the Defence Forces of this country, do not know of any such action whereby murder was authorized at any time.